caution.
See you on the other side.
And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies, gentlemen, others, wherever you happen to be. Welcome once again to Nerd Week Live. Here at. Is that me I'm hearing? Yes, it is. I'll turn off that sound. Brought to you by the folks here at Nerd Caliber. And joining me, Rodney Brown, editor in chief of Nerd Caliber, first person shooters, cosplay photographer on Facebook, Burley_adopter on Twitter. So let's start with the lovely lady with the wonderful earrings. Introduce yourself if you would.
Hi.
It may take a while to explain the other guy.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Hello, I'm Gogo Incognito, international burlesquer, award-winning cosplayer, long-time Nerd Caliber contributor. Happy to be here at my home with these amazing earrings that I actually just want to say I got in Alaska. But just think about that.
Fancy.
These badass earrings came from Alaska. Anyway, I'm excited about tonight. I'm happy to be back. Moving on.
And the rather tall gentleman with the fantastic hair. Introduce yourself.
What's your roll? It's your old pal Agrid here. So my name in real life is Greg. I'm an associate producer here at Nerd Caliber, aka Wonder Llama Cosplay, as you might be able to tell, and also Wonder Llama Photography. The reason for still being in costume this evening, I have been reading a chapter a night from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in a huge global Harry Potter fan group, doing anything we can to help kids stay entertained and engaged and not go stir crazy, and parents and Potter fans. So that's been a lot of fun. It's also been a good time for me because I get to put whiskey in a Gryffindor mug and pretend it's butterbeer. So it's really a win-win for everybody. So I'm looking forward to being here this evening. We've got some cool stuff to get over. And I think, is this officially our first on-camera Nerd Week cosplay? Do I have that title?
Ooh, I believe you are our first official on-camera cosplay.
Nice.
So, Cameron, welcome to the show. Waifu, welcome back. Sarah, welcome to the show. Megan, welcome to the show. And I'm sorry I don't read Arabic, so I don't know what to call you, but welcome to the show. Luminous, welcome to the show. We do have a lot of stuff, actually a fairly small roster of things to get to, but some of them are going to require some explaining, and we've got a group of talkers. So, so we're going to jump right into it. One thing, though, I want to get the official name of this before I butcher it. I don't want to call it the wrong thing. So actually, anybody there who knows, before I look it up, today is is it Visibility Day?
Transvisibility Day.
Transvisibility Day. So
Yes.
happy Transvisibility Day to everybody out there who thinks that's an important thing, and I do, and we do here at Nerd Caliber.
We absolutely do. One thing I love about Nerd Caliber, and one reason I've been working for them for so long, is that they're cool like that. And we have trans people on staff, and we see you, we respect you, we validate you, and we love you.
Absolutely. What she said. All right. So moving on to our first topic. And that just came up on your screen is, of course, the Xbox Series X. The news about this was that apparently some enterprising young hacker type hacked the source code of the Series X before it's even out, and including the source code for the customized AMD-made graphics processing unit, which is really, really proprietary information. Where it gets even more bizarre and interesting is that he's holding it for ransom. This hacker, supposedly, of course, Microsoft, AMD, nobody's confirmed this, but these posts and the source code was all over places where you could find this. and has been taken down, but the person says he's copied it to multiple different locations. Looking for $100 million. No, $1 million. There we go. To make sure that it doesn't get out there in the general populace.
Too late.
Well, yeah. First off, if it was, he posted on GitHub, which is where, if you're a software coder, that's where bits of code that people get to reuse for other things that can be like patched in, so you don't have to write like every line, gets posted up for people to be able to reuse. If it was up on GitHub, it's out there. It's gone. The Xbox looks like an Alexa, waifu says. Yeah, kinda. I think that might have been what they were going for.
I was thinking more the obelisk from the opening of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That works as well.
That's a deep cut right there.
Exactly. For all of
As
us.
has been pointed out on many occasions, I'm old.
I mean, I didn't say that. I said deep cut. But,
Deep
you
cut,
know.
exactly.
Thank you.
Um,
Potato.
apparently, this is not going to cause any sort of a delay in the release of the product, according to officials. Who knows if they're planning on. Why would they pay now if the guy put it up on GitHub and supposedly has forked it to a bunch of other software repositories? It's out there. If it's out there, why would they pay this guy a ransom? Anyway, so
It depends on. I mean, I work in the computer industry. I have no idea what he's done, how he's done it, but it's possible he's just put up snippets, like proof of life, if you will, for the software world, just enough information to say, look, it's clear I've got all of this, but not enough for, some random person to reconstruct the entire thing. It's the only way that makes any sense if he's actually trying to hold it for ransom and not just get a lot of attention for saying $100 million, because that'll get everyone's attention.
And a closer reading of the article does say, in fact, that was what he did. That he posted segments of the code to GitHub, basically, I guess, to prove that it was, in fact, the right or the legit code. So, well, who knows? Maybe he'll still get it before the FBI comes and throws him in federal. Can't say that, can you? That line from Office Space, federal prison. And there's another deep cut for those of you who are old enough to remember Office Space. Yay!
The Who's Cow?
Yeah, the Who's Cow. That's not what they called it, but that's close enough. All right, moving on to our next one. So I don't know if those of you who are comic book fans know of Comiket. If you're not an anime fan or a manga fan, you probably don't know much about it. Comiket is the largest comic book convention in the world. It's held twice a year in Japan, and it is primarily, when we say comic book here, it's obviously manga. It's Japanese manga, which are their comic books, but it's enormous. And the coronavirus pandemic has done this one in, just like all the cons that it's done in here in the United States. The upcoming Comiket 98, yeah, they've been holding this for a while, has been canceled.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
No.
So
Well, if they do it twice a year,
yeah,
that would be hypothetically, it's still 50 years. That can't be right.
I was thinking that exactly, Hagrid, Greg. Like, hold it twice a year and catch up on then Centennial.
That's
there may have been specials, but generally it is run twice a year. Like last year, the summer and winter events were Comiket 96 and 97. So maybe it might have been running that long. I think that would be awesome if it was. Does anybody know? Cameron, Corona better cut the crap and get out of here. Yes, please.
You heard
and
it from
waifu,
Cameron, Corona. Your time is
Exactly.
up.
Cameron
Bye-bye.
said so. You're out.
Bye-bye.
Waifu says, yeah, we can't have a normal life without the coronavirus. That is true. And it ain't going to get better anytime soon. As you know, everybody's guidelines have now extended out till either the end of April or the first week in May, depending upon whether you're talking federal or certain states. So,
Just out of curiosity, quick aside, Rodney and I are in Mass, and the governor today announced May 4th or 5th?
May 6th, I thought,
May
but
6th.
yeah.
It's
Oh
first
no, it
week
would have
of
been.
May.
It's probably May 4th because that was a Saturday. So.
Okay. And our friend Gogo is in Tennessee. Do you have any news on when that's been extended?
It's been extended to April 30th, but the thing that's very tricky, because I'm in the gig industry as a performer, is that even if social distancing stuff or whatever, they say go frolic, which honestly I don't think they should, et cetera, et cetera. But still, for those of us, I mean, Nashville is Music City. I mean, we are an absolute city built on live entertainment every single night, like New Orleans,
Mhm.
New York, like Chicago, et cetera. So, front of house is going to be able to open, and places aren't going to be able to do the same. So it's a waiting game for us to be able to get back to normal. I'm doing air quotes. I don't know if I'm on screen right now.
You are
But
on
you can't
screen, so yes, your air quote showed up.
go. There we go. Okay.
Kay says it canceled the con I was going to a day before it was canceled. I ordered my cosplay.
Oh,
That is awful.
ouch.
We had a
Kay.
correspondent go out a week early to Emerald City Comic Con because he has a lot of friends out there, and
Yes.
he got the announcement it was canceled when he got off the plane.
Yeah.
So,
remember-
Brutal.
Yep.
Yep. Everything in New England has been canceled. I mean, we could do a whole show on this one, but so I was scheduled to go to Dallas, to Fan Expo Dallas in May. That got pushed to June. MegaCon, Fan Expo MegaCon, that's also pushed to June. It's going to be very interesting to see whether mid to late June is going to be okay to have 40, 50,000 people in a convention center. So we'll get back to that one on another show.
Yeah. And speaking of that, actually tying back to the Comic-Con thing, so this was their winter show. It had already been pushed into what's called Golden Week in Japan, which is a school vacation week sort of thing, which was supposed to be May 2nd to 5th. Then they got canceled. The August event had already been postponed when it's supposed to be held in August because of the pressure of the Tokyo Olympics. So now, who knows when the summer event is going to be held? So yeah, things are really screwed up out there in the con world, and not just here, as we
Everywhere.
as we can see.
I've got a good friend of mine is on staff, not on staff, cosplay guest at a big convention in the Netherlands at the beginning of June, and she's not sure whether she's going. So it's everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, and for cosplayers also who are traveling overseas, and they had all this stuff, and again, burlesquers and nerdlesquers. And it's tough. I mean, people have booked up their for people who do this professionally.
Yep.
The professional cosplayers, alt models, burlesquers, etc. This is their paycheck.
It's their bread and butter.
Yep.
Literally.
Tough.
Yeah, it's affecting us all, and not at all in a good way. But let's move off that subject that we could all talk about forever and ever,
Right.
and move on to something much cooler. Gogo brought this to our attention just a couple hours ago, and it's really neat. That is an actual image from the upcoming Dark Horse comic, Disney Villains Ursula and the Seven Seas, which is going to give us Ursula's origin backstory. Is that cool or what, kids?
It's so great. Let me know
That's
when
awesome.
I start screaming.
Oh, okay. You're back on the screen. So you can
Okay,
gesticulate
okay.
all you want.
Okay. Why this is exciting. Of course, Ursula is an amazing villain. Disney villains have been amazing over time. She is actually kind of balanced. Of course, as we all know, any Disney historian knows, she is actually based off of Divine, the drag queen of John Waters fame. So lots of layers in there. So much good evil. So much potential for backstory. But also, this is going through Dark Horse. And if there's one thing I know about Dark Horse is they do not shy away from Disney inappropriate themes. So I am so excited what they're going to do with this super classic, super badass villain. Like, I want to see it get dark. Come on, Dark Horse and Disney. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't know. I saw today when I saw this that they'd actually done like one thing before, which I'm gonna have to check out. But I just feel like with like look, Cruella de Vil, one-dimensional character, you can only go so far.
This is
Ursula,
true.
so much potential, and I think it's only beginning to be mine. So I'm really excited to see where it goes, and
I love it.
out, I want to update on it. Just saying.
Done.
Dark Devil, What Kids? That might have been What Up Kids, but either way, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Who made the cover of the art style? Oh, Waifu. Yeah, so the artist is Gabrielle Bagnoli. Apparently done work for the Snow White comic at Dark Horse and the Steven Universe that's ongoing series at Boom Studios. So
Okay,
that's
Never see Steven Universe at Dark Horse. I got so confused when I read this.
yeah, no, that's at Boom Studios. Now, mind you, Boom Studios does an awful lot of on that edgelord kind of stuff too. So they're not quite as dark as Dark Horse can be, but they certainly aren't Disney Comics. Assuming Disney had their own. Well, they do have their own. It's called Marvel.
Right. I did not know about Snow White. I'm going to check that out, but I'm not nearly as excited as I am for Ursula. One of my all-time favorite just pop culture villains and icons.
Cool beans. So June 24th.
that's-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
Sorry, I was going to say, Gogo, thanks for that dropping that knowledge bomb. I did not know about that being based on Divine. That may be a reference that only us olds actually get, who Divine was as a performer in John Waters movies and in clubs, etc. But as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, hell, of course it is. And how very, very subversive of the ultra squeaky clean Disney House of Mouse to base it's a villain, but to base a character on a not just a drag character, but a filthy drag character.
Yeah, for those of you who are thinking about looking up the drag character or the drag queen, I guess, Divine, don't do it if you're not 18. So that is our official. We warned them.
Don't
YouTube.
do it at work or at a library if you're still able to go to either of those places.
Exactly. We warned them, YouTube. So do not demonetize us.
John Waters and Divine, not safe for work, 18 and over.
Yes. Personally, 60 and over for me. Although I've seen many of the movies, but they will not be repeat watches for me. I recognize the genius. Let's put it that way. Anyway,
everyone's taste.
Yes, June 24th, 2020 is when these are supposed to come out. With like Diamond halting all comic distribution, with most of the comic publishers basically what they're saying, putting down the pencils. If it's already done and it's just a matter of distribution, cool. But if there's still work to be done, I wouldn't count on that.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I didn't have a chance to read through the entire article because it just hit our private group just before we jumped on. Do we know if it's finished? I mean, if they've got all the art and penciling and everything done? Because I was going to say, is it going to hit Comixology and similar digital platforms?
They did not say. They just announced it. So
Yep.
Knowing how passionate I am about this, when there's updates, we will know.
Cool.
But they did list, since this just got released a couple of days ago, they did list a date and a price and everything else, and that would indicate that they do have it ready to go. Otherwise, so Diamond distributors and others stopped their distribution before this announcement came out, so they probably wouldn't have put this announcement out with that in it, saying that you could get it June 24th if it wasn't ready to go out there.
Right.
Look at this. Crash, welcome to the show. Welcome to the chat. Crash says, old? Go-Go's like 20.
Thank you, darling.
Had to get that in there. All right, moving on. So
You-
from the sublime to the ridiculous. Ursula, yay. This? Why? So
Oh.
what you saw up there on the screen, or what you're seeing up there on the screen, is, of course, the Angry Birds. This is from the Angry Birds movie, too. And the news is, oh my god, why in the world did you do this? Netflix is going to make an animated series about the Angry Birds. Angry Birds Summer Madness.
Can
Why?
I refer to I don't know,
Cool.
again, talking about stuff that's 18 and over. Actually, I don't know what the age range is for Rick and Morty. I know they tackle a lot of mature subjects, but I watch it, and there was an amazing episode where they talk about how Netflix will just take anything. I refer to this. Honestly, I want to be like Dan Harmon. Correct.
Spot on.
Correct. Like, because honestly, why? Who wants this? Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. This was not even cool. It was just something we did like 10 years ago.
The time is gone. What, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Nope.
If this was 5 years ago, even maybe. But right now, I mean, has there been an Angry Birds update? Does anybody still play that? Why aren't they making a Pokemon Go movie? People still play that.
Maybe
Please, more Pokemon movies.
because
My God.
Ryan Reynolds has too many other projects on his
That's
plate right now.
exactly what I was thinking. I mean, literally been Pokemon thing, social distancing, just around the neighborhoods with the husband. And we're like, when's the next movie coming out? And I'm like, whenever Ryan Reynolds wants to do it. But seriously, there's so much Pokemon right now. I even watched one of the ones that came on Netflix that was like Mewtwo, and it's all Mewtwo just villaining talking about humanity. And I was like, I get it.
Waifu says, I like their old games. Where there's no animated movie Angry Birds, I think I don't get what the sentence is, Waifu, but try again, and I'm sure we'll try to answer that. So, since you brought him up, I'm going to jump subjects.
You're welcome.
And we're going right to that just appeared on your screen. If you are a really old gamer, you know that is from Dragon's Lair, which was an awesome arcade game way back in the day. And the news is that they're going to be doing a live action adaptation of Dragon Lair, and the rumor, Hollywood Reporter says they've confirmed it, but they're the only one that's confirmed it, is that Ryan Reynolds is going to be starring in it. And again, this is Netflix. This I like.
A lot more sense than Angry Birds. I mean, also, if anybody is like, what? I don't know this game. I've never seen this game. I've never seen anything about it. Do you watch Stranger Things? Because there's a great cameo. I don't remember if I think it's the beginning of season 2. But there's a great cameo of this video game.
Really? I do not remember that.
Yes.
Somebody's playing it at an arcade?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Where they come up, I believe, and I'm sorry, maybe a little bit of spoilers for Stranger Things 2, if you haven't seen it, but there is an arcade scene in the beginning where this is what they're playing, and it introduces a new character.
Waifu says has seen the video of that game. There are plenty of videos. It's Dirk. Dirk the Daring is the knight that's in there trying to rescue Princess Daphne. Princess Daphne had the least appropriate diaphanous type outfit that I'm surprised they got away with back in the late 70s and early 80s when that game was in the arcades. Wow.
So I mean, this was. I mean, yeah, this is another. Yeah, we're old, but this was in its own way pretty revolutionary because this came out roughly at the same time when arcade games were Space Invaders, Galaga, Centipede,
Yeah.
um, like those very vector graphic, spin a wheel, shoot a thing, blow up a starbase, asteroids, that type of like Atari type video game. This was animated. There were characters. It was the closest thing in that era to what we take for granted now as like somewhat immersive 2D animated video games.
Right.
I mean, play if you. I would love to play it now because I'm guessing it'd be like, oh my god, the jokes are so dated, and the graphics are so old looking compared to what we're used to now. But it was pretty kick ass and pretty revolutionary in the day.
So,
I mean,
Crash says they released a remaster a while back, and I bet that's what that art is from.
Mm,
I just put that back up on the screen. Um, and Luminous remembers the game. Also noted that it was in Stranger Things. Great minds remember
nice.
great things. It,
what?
oh, he does. It was 50 cents when all other games were a quarter. That is true. You had to pay
Hmm.
for all that, beautiful artwork.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Don
So,
Bluth didn't come cheap.
well, and in fact, Don Bluth, who was, the creator behind this or the artist behind this, is listed as one of the producers on the movie. But the main producer is this guy Roy Lee, who was one of the producers on It Chapter 2. And his production company, Vertigo Entertainment, also worked on Doctor Sleep. So it's got some decent names attached to it, and apparently Ryan Reynolds.
He
Possibly.
brings all the boys to the yard.
He does. He does. So now we're going to go back to what was in the order of the topics, and that's the wonderful cover image for Neil Gaiman's book, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Um, and the news is that there is going to be an adaptation of that, and it's going to be done by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Um,
What a
which
team. What a team.
what a team! But so I'm a little. So Simon Pegg certainly can do serious stuff, and Nick Frost has proven that even more so that he can do serious stuff with his work on Doctor Who and so on. You know, this isn't part of the Cornetto trilogy. This is not Hot Fuzz.
No. Nope.
Um,
No, I totally get that, and I have to say a disclaimer right now. I absolutely love Neil Gaiman. This is one of his works that I have not read, and so I
Mm.
will be reading it way before ever watching it because again, like I do also think of Simon Pegg as great comedy.
Yep.
I
So
can't
sorry,
say.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I can't really comment on if this is going to be
Gotcha.
correct or not. That's it. I'm done.
I I mean, so like anything, cautious optimism. We'll wait and see.
right.
I definitely can see it happening. I've read it a couple times. Go. I would recommend if you have not read it, get the audiobook because Gaiman reads it. And anytime Neil reads his own books, it's magical.
I should
Um,
for that.
this is a this is dark. This is dark metaphysical. It's sort of if you took the deep mythology of American gods
Yeah.
out and it just left the kind of the patina of magic that comes along with it. It's a
Yeah.
little reminiscent of that. It's hard to describe without going too deep into things, no pun intended. But it's quite good. It's also one of those where he doesn't spell everything out for you. There's a lot left to the imagination, which is where I think this could work well with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Um, they're both, from what I've read, they're both huge fans of Neil Gaiman. Chances are good that Neil will be involved with the production in some capacity. And I think Simon Pegg does have serious acting chops. I just read an interview with him recently where he was talking about like what it's like to go from a big blockbuster like Star Trek and Mission Impossible to some of the smaller, almost independent type movies he's done. And by all accounts, he absolutely loves doing both. It's not, I'll collect a paycheck from Universal to do Star Trek, and then I'll get to go do the fun little projects. He takes everything and loves it all. And Nick Frost, same sort of thing. So I'm pretty excited about this. I like the book a lot. It's definitely like if you read it and you didn't know who the author was, you'd probably be able to guess who the author was.
So I have actually heard an interview with him back when the book was released, and apparently he wrote it at a really, really difficult time in his relationship. Oh my God, I just completely lost her name, with his wife.
Amanda Palmer.
Thank you, Amanda
Yeah.
Palmer. And it worked through a lot of things for him, which is apparently one of the reasons why it resonates so emotionally deeply with a lot of its readers. It's definitely one of the most emotionally affecting of his books, and he doesn't like shy away from,
Yep.
putting the emotion screws to you.
Right.
Crash Override. He had a small role. Oh, Simon Pegg. Yes, I was like, Neil Gaiman was in Band of Brothers. Oh no. Crash points out that Simon Pegg had a small role in Band of Brothers and definitely had a solid serious chops. That is true, as apparently did every single British actor of that age group.
Yeah.
Literally, if there's an actor that's now in his 40s or 50s, go back and watch Band of Brothers, a British actor, and you will see them in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
We joke after having watched Agatha Christie, stories on TV, and Father Brown and all the classic BBC murder mystery shows. There's actually only 37 actors in the entire UK. They're all on payroll at BBC, and they just shuffle them.
Yep.
I used to love spotting the crossovers between like the murder mysteries and Call the Midwife and Game of Thrones and Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Only so many actors at BBC. They got to mix them up.
Exactly.
Like, oh, wow, this guy was really short in that, in Game of Thrones, and now he's like, oh, now he's tall.
It's like, oh, that's camera angles. All right.
So I'm gonna give a 2 thumbs up for as good as the book is. The audio book is as good or better with Neil Gaiman reading it.
Cool. And we don't know when this is going to happen. It was literally a side mention in an interview with Pegg and Frost about a different project they're doing.
Cool.
And they just sort of threw this out there. Oh, by the way, we're working on Oceans at the End of the Lane.
Hopefully they're working on the screenplay while everyone's not on set.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our next topic, and this is kind of sad, and I have to explain why the image is up there right now. The image that's up there is from the game Half-Life. The news is that one of the co-founders of Gearbox Software, which is best known for the Borderlands series, passed away due to COVID-19, due to the coronavirus, just this last week. The reason that Half-Life is up there is that one of the first things that Gearbox did when they got started was they were hired by Valve to do an awful lot of the work on Half-Life. So they were one of the studios that's in the credits of the original Half-Life game, and they did a ton of work on that game. I mean, it was Valve's game, it was their idea, but as far as the actual coding and the hard work, Gearbox did a ton of it. And specifically, this Landon Montgomery, who was the co-founder that passed away, was one of those that put a ton of work into this and is known in the industry for the work he did on Half-Life.
Yep.
So not much else really to say about that, other than it's terribly sad news, and frankly, it's not going to be the last time we hear something like that in the nerd community. We'll probably do more of these going forward. So, condolences to his family and all of his former Gearbox. He left Gearbox before they started working on the Borderlands stuff,
But I was reading a little bit about this, and he was involved in several of the Elder Scrolls titles.
Yep.
I think pre Skyrim. some of the online versions and stuff. So this guy's got his digital DNA in a lot of games we all play.
Halo Combat Evolved.
Yep.
What else? There was one other series that he was fairly well known for doing work on. Oh well. Anyway, those. I can't think of the name of it, but it was the first game that Gearbox put out by itself.
Oh, shoot, I should know, but I can't remember.
Battle something. And unfortunately, the site with the news won't load for me, so I can't find out. Victor David Sanchez Manriquez. Hi and goodbye. So there you go. Thanks for stopping by. If you continue hanging out, ask some questions about our topics.
Crash usually knows his video game history super well. Crash, if you know offhand what the first Gearbox game we were referring to that we can't think of, throw it out there for us.
Yes, please do. All right, so now we're moving on to our next story, which is actually kind of sort of related. The image that came up on your screen right there is a cosplayer doing Mad Moxie from the Borderlands series. That's Jessalyn Cupcake from PAX East. I took that photo, PAX East 2019. And
oh God, you're using a Moxie cosplayer who isn't me. I'm never.
I don't. You know what? I don't have any horizontals of you.
I will fix this.
So next time you're in it and we're at a con, I'll make sure I get some horizontal shots. Anyway, yes. Sorry about that, Gogo.
Bad Rodney.
All right, this is an aside. I'm doing a gallery of Borderlands stuff because of the story that we're about to be doing that'll go up on the website, a retrospective. And I also have the Handsome Jack cosplay that we shot in like 2015 at PAX East. I didn't shoot any horizontals of that either, so my bad.
Well, the mix.
Oh, you're in it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. All right, ego aside, back to the topic.
All right. So the topic is that Borderlands is being ported to the Switch. Apparently, a bulk package where you can get the Game of the Year edition of Borderlands 2. You get Borderlands, Game of the Year edition of Borderlands 2, and one other game, not Borderlands 3. That's, I think, a little too graphically complex or too new. But yeah, you can get, you'll be able to put Borderlands right there on your little Switch.
This is super exciting. I also, I haven't played my Switch in several years, except I did get Animal Crossing, and I have been absolutely hooked. So I'm not someone who plays on the Switch all the time. I'm usually on my console stuff, mainly my PS4. But I saw this, and it honestly doesn't take long to adapt to the Switch, and I'm very excited to see. I also, as a huge Borderlands person, Borderlands 2 was absolutely, in my opinion, the easiest to play and jump into. So it makes perfect sense to me that they're going to port that to the Switch because I think it'll pare down that way.
Yep.
And you're still going to get, like, again, it was a great game, the first one. The second, they made some great changes with characters and diversity and all this and that. So I love to see the Borderlands fandom expand. I also really am looking, now that I've got this Switch and I know how to actually like hold the stupid thing, well, it's like this, like, but I can just lean it on my boobies and go tick 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 tick.
There you go, built-in shelf.
Yes, I'm looking forward because I do, as someone who is on the go a lot during the day and sort of gets time to stop off at like a coffee shop or here or there and looking for ways to entertain myself or like kill time between a meeting or two. This is great.
This will be a lot of fun. Crash did give us an answer, and I should have remembered this. Brothers in Arms was the series that we were talking about. Which their first.
Rambling on, Crash. Sorry for rambling on. I get passionate about Borderlands.
As you should.
Great Dire Straits album too.
Brothers in Arms, yes. Yes, great video game, great Dire Straits album. Yeah, we're old, Greg. Keep mentioning that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me all your boomer vitriol. I can take it.
No.
It's that half giant blood. Keeps you young.
It is.
Yeah. So you can pre-order this now if you actually go to the Gearbox website. You can put your pre-order in for the Switch, which I think is. I had read that it was supposed to have been released already. It was supposed to be like the 29th, but the pre-order thing is still up, so apparently it's not out. But if this website is saying it's coming out on the 29th, it's got to be coming out pretty soon. So, so if you really want it, go in there, pre-order it, and get your game. We have related news about the Switch, which is pretty cool, and this is kind of a rumor. The 35th anniversary of the Mario franchise is coming up, and there are sites that are reporting that they have multiple inside sources that say that one of the things that Nintendo will be doing will be re-releasing a number of graphically remastered versions of previous games in the franchise. This is from Super Mario Galaxy 2. The image that just showed up there. Some of the articles say everything in the catalog.
Wow.
Some of them say some. None of them have been confirmed by Nintendo. So rumor, but given all the activity going on around the Switch, I think it's a solid rumor.
Yes, I mean, did Animal Crossing?
It's taken off like crazy.
Time has been on their side.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But
that's great. For a lousy reason.
Big difference between profiting and profiteering, and that was just profiting from being the right thing at the right time.
Like weird luck. I don't even want to say good luck because it's not good what's happening around the world, but like, you know,
kismet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, half of my Facebook feed these days is, "Hi, I have oranges. Does anyone have roses?"
Same here. I don't have a Switch, so I don't play. And I'm like,
I don't have a Switch either. I may have to get
I like
one
oranges.
Because...
Oh, not real. Okay.
Now that I know what I'm doing, like, because it took me a few days where I'm like, I've never played Animal Crossing before. It just, like, I'm of a generation. I did what was that, Ace Attorney, which is called
Big
Game. In the best possible way. Sorry. That was my thing on like the DS. So all these like Animal Crossing games and whatnot, like I'm so brand new, but I so see the appeal. But it took me a few days to actually feel confident in like inviting people, but now I do. So I'm about to do that post where I'm like, I have pears, and the Mabel sisters have opened their shop. Come see me.
Awesome. Maybe they'll make a port for the PC and then I can play it because I don't own any consoles. I'm such an old school PC gamer. But that's it. That's our topic. Those are our topics. Wow, how did we manage to do this in under 45 minutes with the three of us?
I don't know.
I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
Magic.
There we go. Awesome. Well, we've got nothing to plug because
Nope.
well, we'll plug the Cosplay and Photography Expo, which is still going on July 18th and 19th, Mansfield, Mass. If you want to learn how to do anything in cosplay, making it, performing it, whatever, how to do the photography, video of cosplay. 2 days of panels from absolute top tier experts on the East Coast.
This place to be. This is the shit. You will learn all the things. Be there.
All the
This
things.
is, in
Many
fact,
of the things.
Why I'm a photographer now, and it's also where I met Gogo, and now we're best buds.
We are.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly. And that is as big a part of what Cosplay and Photography Expo is about, is putting people together.
And that's the last thing I want to say. We don't have anything to plug, but at the beginning of our show, we did talk about how Hagrid / Greg was in cosplay for the first time. And so
Plug,
my
Greg.
deep-
Oh, for the first time on camera.
oh no no no, I mean yeah, here in this show. But I just want to say I see you, BFF, and I'm gonna raise you a cosplay. It's going to be a thing.
Good. I know it is. I know
So,
it is. Well, we
Greg,
got to get back to
as
that.
as your outro, plug that thing.
I will indeed plug that. So, just a real quick thing. Every night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm on Facebook Live. I'm reading one chapter a night from The Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, in case that wasn't abundantly clear. I just finished chapter 3 tonight, so it's still early in the book. The best place to find it is Weasley's Whimsical World on Facebook. It's an open group. You can jump in. You can see the video live. If not, it's on my video stuff as well. I think we got. Well, hopefully we'll post some of the links to the Nerd Caliber to watch it afterwards. But yep, 7 o'clock weeknight, or actually pretty much every night, I think. If you look for the group Weasley's Whimsical World, it's a big Harry Potter fan group, and everybody's welcome.
Yeah, I met a bunch of them at LeakyCon, and they're awesome people. They're really good people.
Wait, LeakyCon?
LeakyCon was a Harry Potter con. Not really sure why it had that name, but
After the Leaky Cauldron.
Oh, the Leaky Cauldron. There we go.
Yep.
Um,
You
go
didn't
ahead.
notice the giant cauldron
that was
directly
sitting right
behind
next to
your
me.
chair?
Yeah, I did notice
Yeah.
the giant cauldron, but I didn't put those two things together. Go, if you would give yourself an outro.
Hi, my name is Gogo Incognito. I encourage you to follow me on Instagram at gogo_incognito if you want to see uplifting cosplay stuff, random stuff, and if you are 18 or older, you can come see me because I am often not safe for work. So that's all I'm going to say. Gogo_incognito, spreading cheer with my dear ear. Anytime.
That's yes, endorsed. So Luminous, so Wonder Woman cosplay posts on Nerd Caliber are great. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate those, and thank you for the suggestion. Hope to see more cosplay photo collections. There are more every week. Maybe feature one cosplay from over the years. If I do that, I'll credit you for the idea. Crash.
Yes,
No,
very
could
nice.
we not tonight? I'll just throw this out.
I
Could
think
we
the-
not be idiots and violate the self quarantine, and the social distancing restrictions? That's not a cool thing, folks. And I'm just saying that because I'm 16 days away from being in the danger group. I'm saying that because there are people you love who are in the danger group, and you can be a carrier whether you're infected or not. So, could we not be idiots about the coronavirus? Anybody else have a quick one?
Apparently not.
Yes, it's true. Apparently we cannot, or some of us we cannot. But on that note, stay safe, wash your hands, don't cough on people, use the sanitizer, and just practice smart social distancing and self-isolation. And we will see you. I do have one other thing to plug. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., part 2 of our cosplayer costume profile. We got flooded with so many questions after our 15 minutes with Kitten and Strings cosplay about her Zelda costume that we decided to do a second. Apparently 15 minutes is not enough for those. So this next one will be another 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. But going forward, they will be 30 minutes as we do new ones. Because there were a ton of questions, and apparently they just kept coming. So tomorrow night, it is we'll be here on YouTube, but we've also already teased it on Nerd Caliber. So check it out if you want to find out how a fantastic cosplay creator with her own studio makes stuff like that. So, and on that note, thank you all for tuning in. Say bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.